Hello and welcome to Mind Shifters Radio. I'm Tim Hayes. I'm your host for the first hour. And today is Friday, October 3rd, 2025. As always, we're grateful to everyone who's joining us here today, whether you're listening live or through the archives, as we spend another couple of hours teaching and supporting people in using some of the most powerful, effective, efficient, and accessible tools I've ever encountered. These tools are available absolutely free through the tireless efforts of Dr. Michael and Jeannie Ryce on the website at whyagain.org. If you go to that website and click on the two words that say Start Here in the upper left-hand corner, it will take you to a page where you can download and read Chapter 24 of Dr. Michael Ryce's book. His book is titled, Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And that chapter of the book contains a narrative description and explanation of the primary tool in this work. That tool is called the Reality Management Worksheet, sometimes called the Reality Management Wake-Up Sheet, and it's a tool I've been using to great effect for over 21 years now to improve the quality of my life and most of my relationships, and to turn any negative emotional experience I have into part of the infallible guidance system that each and every one of us has been given. You can also download the actual worksheet process itself. It's a simple PDF file. Click the link, download it, print it off, copy it as often as you'd like, and use it over and over again absolutely free. You can also download from that page a whole host of audio files that shows just like this one, where people have been stepped through the worksheet process. And if you choose to listen to them even repeatedly, they can serve as a powerful tutorial for you to help you get maximum benefit from these tools in the shortest amount of time possible. You can also go to your app store and type in the three words HeartLand Aramaic Forgiveness. And if you choose to do that before you're done typing the word forgiveness, you'll see the glowing heart icon. If you tap on that, it will let you download a completely free and private app that contains the Reality Management Worksheet. It contains an abbreviated version of that worksheet process, and it contains a copy of the Dragon-Klingon game, which is a wonderful way to introduce these tools to even younger audiences. We hope people do all of that soon and often, primarily because it tends to improve the quality of people's lives the more they actively apply these tools in their lives. And secondarily, because it tends to prompt comments, questions, answers, and testimonials. And if you have any of those to share with us, we'd appreciate if you do that. You can email me at tjh@mindshifters-academy.org. Or you can email Jeannie at jeanie@whyagain.org. That's whyagain.org. And if we get a question or a comment from you, we'll address it on the internet show, and then as time allows, send you a notification about what day and time that occurred, so you can listen back to the archives for the feedback or input. And as I mentioned before, in almost every intro, we greatly appreciate when people give us feedback and share with their process with us, because it makes it infinitely easier for us to live into our intention with this work. The intention we have with this work is to be of service. So please let us know how we can be of service to you. It's a Friday, so we had a support group last night, and it was yet another support group where we didn't listen to any outside sources or experts. We just had discussion and processing within the group and the group members. And so just a quick reminder that those groups are available absolutely free on Tuesday and Thursday nights from 6:30 to 9 Central Time. And all the information you would need to join us or forward to somebody else if you think they might benefit from it is available on the mindshiftersacademy.org website. So here we are. It's on a Friday. What's on your mind? What is bubbling up? And or how can we support you in processing anything that's less than love, or the loving energy that you're designed to be able to live with conscious connection to? And That's our big payoff here in this work, is that each of us who pick up the tools and apply them in our lives and experience the benefit, we get the direct immediate benefit, and everybody else in existence benefits energetically, because we're all part of the same soup. We're all part of what they call the quantum field, or the quantum potential.
Dr. Tim?
Yes.
Howdy.
Hello.
Hi. I've been, as usual, working on my memoirs, and I came across a quote that I don't have right in front of me. It was something Eckhart Tolle said, something like, any negativity is a manipulation to get what you want. Now, we've talked about similar things, but I've never heard it put quite that way. And I wondered if you would like to comment on that.
Well, all I can do is tell you what it resonates in my brain cells. I have no idea what he intended. I don't remember hearing that from him. And yet, if it's negative, doesn't that mean at some level I'm complaining?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's the only connection I can make to that quote from Eckhart Tolle, is that if I'm complaining about something, it's because I want it to be different.
Right. And that connects with gossip. And I had a family reunion recently, and we talk a lot about each other, and I've never called it gossip. And I don't know if it's fair to call it gossip because we care about each other. So what are we doing? I would like to see it as processing. Something isn't, one of us is seriously addicted, for instance, and we're discussing, the person isn't there. That's true. That's what makes it talking behind a back or like gossip. But the difference between one kind of gossip, I have two kinds of gossip, and one of them I don't call gossip. I just call it processing, and it's usually pretty productive. And that goes along, though, with negativity, which means there's something not right about it, too, maybe.
Well,
Or maybe,
if there's negativity involved, then it's more like gossip than care.
or it could be just observation.
Yeah, but if observation's involved, it's not negative. If the negativity comes in, that means there's judgment, and that means it's gossip.
Well, if the situation with the person is pretty dark and upsetting, it could seem like negativity, but it isn't necessarily. There's one family member we were talking about, and it was like, how can we go ahead with this situation that probably isn't going to change from that person's point of view? How can we handle it? What do we do? There's the liquidation of 2 houses in the offing. Where should that money go? Should it go to the person who's addicted and not doing anything about it because somebody else in the family is paying her rent and has been for 30 years? I mean, it's that kind of discussion. Anyway, I don't know where this is going, but just that.
Well, but if it's that kind of discussion, that's not what I would call gossip. That's just sorting out the details of family and trying to help the people that have responsibilities execute on their responsibilities effectively.
Yeah, well, this is certainly tinged with anger and dissatisfaction and frustration. So it's
That would be the gossipy part, right?
Okay. All right.
And of course, you're here talking on this show about this, and we would have the tools. We'd say, look, clearly you're in the process of trying to talk about something, and you have emotion up.
Right.
So the strongest recommendation that I can give from this work is that people stop talking about the content, the logistics, the finances, etc., until after they've dismantled their emotional upset, what you might call process.
Yeah.
There was an example in the support group last night where people were trying to have a conversation but there was agitation, there was irritation,
Mm-hmm.
and that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And so eventually, when the attempts to make headway in terms of a logical process to move things forward, when it was stalled completely and we're just spinning in circles, I finally said, okay, let's just take a breath. Let's step back and either breathe, do tapping, or do a worksheet to dismantle the upset before we keep trying to talk. And the other person couldn't even get there. They just kept trying to say, but you're not letting me talk and you're not doing this. And their agitation,
Yeah.
was such
Mm-hmm.
that it was, it's evident to people who are not agitated that, oh, this person's not really following along very well. And so if you're in the family talking about that and you notice you or somebody else is elevated in their emotions, because you have access to these tools, you can suggest that people use them and start dismantling the upset before they continue the conversation. Or you can say, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to go do some work and get myself more calm before I re-engage. And if you don't want to calm down, you could say this to the others, then I'll just table this conversation until on a later date.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is valid and probably far more productive than continuing to talk when one is upset or agitated or angry or hurt or scared or whatever you want to call it.
For sure. And you're in a support group. If you're in a family, that's not going to happen.
What's not going to happen?
My family members are not using tools.
Or
I
no, but
can.
you don't have to use the tools, but you can say, I'm going to back off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go use the tools.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can restore myself to calm, I'll come back and talk with you about it. But if not, I'm going to leave the conversation because I know it's not going to go anywhere good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's one other thing that fits in sideways to this. Is I have a good friend. It was an African family that we had living with us for a while because their house burned down. This was years ago in New Haven. And after we moved to Allentown, Tim and I got a call from the mother one day, and she was just a wreck because her 17-year-old son, walking down the street on the sidewalk with a friend, a truck jumped the curb and killed him. And here she is in massive upset. And this is totally different. I probably even shouldn't bring it up. All you do is stay with a person when that's going on. There's no wake-up sheet to do. But we had many talks, and she was a very devout woman, but she would scream on the phone, where did he go? Is he just under the ground? What happened? He was set to go to college. We had even paid the first increment of tuition. What happened? Did God want this? And she was in huge upset. Of course she was. And I bet you would just say, stay with her, stay with her, stay with her, stay with her. And sometime down the road, maybe a tool. But right now it was just sitting with the person.
That's what you're guessing, I would say.
Yeah.
How's the guess panning out?
It's panning out.
Okay, it's panning out.
Yeah. Okay. That's really not the same situation as I
No,
was
no,
talking about
and,
before.
and the whole idea of that is that in a situation like that, that person's in shock,
Oh, absolutely.
maybe for weeks.
Yeah. It was. Oh, months.
Well, upset for months, but the actual shock process probably,
Yeah.
wears off in a week or so. But it can be, you know, um, at least days where people just can't wrap their mind around anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be the simplest, most direct stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they just can't, it's like the donkey kicked him in the head kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
just not thinking clearly.
Yeah. Well, I guess the point of matching that with the gossip thing is the point where the tool is not an assault or a dismissal of the seriousness of the situation. The tool is a welcome option. And in a family like mine, where we're all over the place, we have some people who've done good work on themselves with different ways of getting there. And one in particular who was handling the whole mess of my nephew's death and liquidation of the house was not in a position to do any processing or looking at herself. And her upset was affecting her health and everything else. But she had, in that sense, a bad ancestor. You know, well, Michael says the best thing you can do is be a good ancestor. She didn't have any modeling of that when she was growing up. My oldest sister was not. She was hostile to the idea of that kind of processing. She called it self-centeredness, navel watching, all kinds of things. And so she just spent her life in a state of addiction and anxiety and died young. It goes to your body. And I see my niece doing the same. Anyway, Dr. Tim, I'm taking us on a long tangent. So,
Well, when you talk about that, my mind wants to say, okay, Susan, but that's not you and that's not your concern. What this person does who doesn't want to do any tools and thinks it's navel gazing and thinks it's unhealthy self-centeredness, that's their opinion. And
yeah, it is.
it's got nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
None of that can stop you from choosing to use tools.
Oh, yeah, I agree totally. And the tools were very useful, but I did
Okay.
them by
And
myself.
so what was the point of bringing that example up? What was the point you were trying to make?
Well, I guess it just shows my unhealthy codependence. I want to fix them all.
Okay,
And
there you go. So if that's all it is, then okay, I recognized, oh, the impetus behind my bringing this up was hoping Dr. Tim could give me some magic pill to fix them,
absolutely.
or that I could say or do the right thing to fix them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's worth some worksheets and tapping and breathing on my end,
Hmm.
because that's a complete misunderstanding of my role in the world. I love this one talk that Guy Finley gave years ago where he said, um, I'm on the bathroom floor crying, sobbing about how my life is in shambles. And the phone rings and it's a friend in trouble, and I become the expert on all things healthy.
I've seen that. Yep.
And I'm there telling them what to do, and my life is still what it was before the phone rang.
What a shift. Yep. I know about that. Yep.
Right. And it's all folk. It's all fake. It's all phony. That's folk. Fake and phony combined. I don't have anything to offer those people when my life is in shambles. What I'm doing by giving them advice about how to change their life for the better is drugging myself away from the realization that my life is in shambles.
But you might have helped them.
Listen to me. I did not help them. They could help themselves. They might hear something from what I said and turn it into something useful for them, but it's not me helping them, especially because I'm not living the example of the life we say we want. If I'm living it, then it's a help to me and everybody else.
Wait a minute,
Energetically, it
Dr.
gets
Tim.
communicated. Wait a minute for what?
You got on the phone. You picked up yourself off the bathroom floor and you answered the phone. You did do something for
Yeah.
them.
Well, I did something. It didn't fix them. It didn't help them in any way.
How
They
do
could
you know?
choose, because I know how life works. They could choose to use the interaction with me in a positive way in their life. They could also get frustrated with me because I won't go into their pity pot with them, and because I offer them some kind of advice when all they wanted was an ear to listen to them, and they could get upset and hang up the phone and decide never to talk to me again. All from the same input from me. It's not what I do that helps or fix another person's life. Please just let this in for a minute. If you had any inkling of how many people I have talked to in the past 51 plus years in therapy, where whatever tool I was presenting with them, it landed on them like a ton of bricks, and they said, to hell with this, I'm out of here. They've
Oh,
left in the middle of a session. They've left
mhm.
after one or two sessions. They've left and told people that guy's a wacko. He wants me to tap on my face, right? If you if you knew an inkling of how many people had that response to what I do in my sessions, it would be much more clear to you how what I do in my sessions is all about me, and it
Mhm.
doesn't create change for people that I talk to. And yet, they could use it to create change in their own life.
That's the rub right there. They could use it. You answer the phone, and they do with what you're answering, they do with it what they need and want right then. And it
Yes.
might be good and it might not be good, but it might be good.
They
So,
might choose to use it for good. The point
yeah,
I'm trying to make is it's not me doing them anything, making them better, helping them in any way. It's me just doing the best I can in the moment, as everybody else is, and what they do with it is up to them.
right.
So this we started this because you mentioned the word or the phrase codependent.
Yeah.
That's why we started that, just to
Mhm.
help break that cycle of thinking that
Mhm.
I'm doing something to change somebody else's life for the better. I'm not. I never have. I do things, and some people can choose to use those for. I just flashed onto a memory I had when the internet was starting to rev up, and people were saying, "Hey, Facebook is a great way to, get exposure to your business and things like that." I gave it a try. I created a C&H counseling Facebook page,
Mm.
and it wasn't too long before I was dealing with somebody. It was a father. He's one of the more troubled and abusive fathers that I've ever dealt with, and he came into my office and he was in the process of abusing his kids again right in front of me, and I had to call him on it and stop the session. And I was doing the best I could to try and educate him about how we might develop a healthy relationship with his kids. He would have none of it, etc.
Mhm.
And because I refused to do what he wanted and ended the session, he found the Facebook page and ripped a new one, right? There's a whole unprofessional, this Dr. Hayes is a quack and blah, blah,
Oh
blah.
God.
But it's the same good stuff I was telling him that
Mhm.
I've told other people, and they've gone home and applied it with loving attention and come back and said incorrectly, they said, "Oh my gosh, Dr. Hayes, you saved our family," or "You saved my
Yeah.
life," or "You."
Mhm.
It's the same business. I'm not
Mm.
saving anybody's life
Mhm.
unless I'm dragging somebody out of a water and keeping them from drowning and are doing CPR. But other than that, I'm just sharing stories and tools and being there, what Michael Ryce would call holding the space of love and
Mhm.
compassion and understanding. And some people choose to generate frustration over that. Why aren't you giving me the answers?
Mm.
Why won't you pull your magic wand out of your desk drawer and fix me or fix my kid? Or
Mm.
and other people just seem to gravitate towards it and say, "Wow, that sounds really interesting. I think I'll try it in my life." And if they try it in their life and it makes an improvement, They are the ones that did that.
I understand. I was on a very rudimentary level of simply picking up the phone without doing anything except coming a little bit out of my bathroom floor self to offering to pick up a phone. From there, it could go in any direction.
Correct. And all we're trying to talk about here and clarify is an accurate attribution, right? To what do we attribute the change, positive or negative? And I'm just
Right.
trying to be clear about that and accurate with that. I don't fix anybody.
Mm-hmm.
In the
Right.
bottom
I
line
understand.
observations, the third one says, after decades of trying, I finally woke up and realized I can't make anyone do anything they don't want to do.
Oh, true. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's in the bottom line observations. It's a really good thing in my life that I review those observations all the time.
Mm.
And whenever I have an upset going on or a stuck point, chances are pretty good, at least one, if not multiple items on that list of bottom line observations are things I'm trying to pretend don't have to apply to me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can wake up and see that, then I can correct it. I can make a course correction.
The toughest, and this isn't your bottom line observations, but it's in the pattern where you say, I give up my wish or want or goal to change myself or anyone else or anything else. I usually get stuck there. Yeah.
How so?
Very hard to give up any hope or expectation. Expectation's easier than hope or wish to change, to have anything change at all. Well, what do we have left? We're just sitting in a heap of ashes.
No, we are not sitting in a heap of ashes. You're going Old Testament on me.
I am. Well, I was going to say a dung heap, but I decided I better modify that.
No, we're in life. We're not
Mm-hmm.
stuck in a dung heap or a heap of ashes. And if we're in life and we dismantle the upset, which we are generating, life
Mm-hmm.
isn't upsetting me. Life is not upsetting to me, to speak accurately.
Mm-hmm.
I can choose, or I may have been programmed to generate upset in response to what I perceive is going on in life, but that's not the same as life doing anything to me.
I understand. True.
And so if I can dismantle the upset, what's the best way we've got in this work to dismantle the upset? Cancel the goals.
Mm-hmm.
When I can cancel the goals I'm aware of consciously, then it clears the field, it clears my field of view. I get to
Mm-hmm.
see aspects of the situation more clearly. I probably see more aspects of the situation, and I put myself in a position where I'm far more likely to take an action that I like the consequences of.
Mm.
And that's all we're trying to do. We're not saying, hey, don't ever try and make anything better or just sit there like a bump on a log. That's not what the goal canceling is about. The goal canceling is about clearing my field of vision and clearing off the drawing board before I start another project or before I decide what action to take here.
Mm-hmm.
Please just listen to the implication in what you were saying when you say if I cancel all my goals and I just sit there on a dung heap or an ash heap. Just think about that. Just think about it. The implication is that you are at that point when you make that statement. Isn't your mind telling you that what Dr. Tim wants you to do is just do nothing in the face of, some intense situation?
Mm.
Isn't that what your mind is telling you? Isn't that what you're arguing back against? Well, we just sit there on a dung heap. Here's the point.
Well, yeah.
Take a look at the people who tell you that these teachings have that part in them. Dr. Michael Ryce, Guy Finley, Diedrich Wolzak, Dale Allen Hoffman, take a look at these people's lives. Take a look at how much they produce.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at how active they are.
Yeah.
And they're doing what they're suggesting you might try. They're very active. They're very engaged in life. They're very supportive of people who have problems and can use assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's the opposite of what your mind is telling you it means to cancel a goal.
Yeah. I picture it. I have nowhere to go and nothing. There's no help anywhere, and that isn't true. I can see that. I often get stuck right there, though.
Yes,
So.
yes, yes. And you have some kind of a thought relationship anyway with God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what does it mean when you get upset with the way life is unfolding? You do not trust God. You don't believe God. You don't believe life as it's unfolding.
Mm-hmm. True.
You think you know better than the flow of life
Absolutely.
itself. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I would invite you into the perspective that can show you how ludicrous that is. That's like the kindergarten kid who wants to lecture the, the woman with 5 PhDs, who's a billionaire.
Of course. Yeah. Well, this is getting off into a whole other worksheet that I won't do on here, but it's just, things pop into mind, and there's one just unbearable thought. It's very simple, but obviously I have some work to do. So.
Well, it's simple to use the tools. Not easy, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, digging a ditch is not easy. It's very simple. Shovel in, dirt out, shovel in, dirt out. And yet, it is a very strenuous activity and it takes time. You don't
Mm-hmm.
dig a ditch with one shovelful. And you don't dig a ditch effectively if it's shovel in, dirt out. Oh, look at that pretty bird over there. Oh, there's a squirrel over. Let me check out this thing over here. Oh, I was supposed to be digging a ditch. Shovel in, dirt out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm distracted again. Now, all I end up with is a bunch of divots that are going to sprain my ankle if I step in them the wrong way. And I don't get a ditch. I don't get a productive result unless I'm
Mm-hmm.
clear, unless I'm focused and consistently applying the tool that's appropriate for the task.
Mm.
And in this work, those tools would be the breath work, goal canceling, the reality management worksheet, the EFT tapping, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, there is a tremendous amount of conditioning for us to unravel.
Mm.
And I believe Cami is requesting to talk. Go ahead and unmute, Cami, if that's correct.
It is correct. I just wanted to thank you, even though I understand exactly what you're saying about there's nothing that we do, it's what the people do with us. But what happened last night has opened up so much. Like, I so many memories that are such key that I have never touched in, oh my gosh, many years of therapy. I went to my first therapist when I was 15, and the things what I did with the things that you said last night
Good.
are just incredible. Like it perfectly hit that sweet spot, and I know more is going to be revealed. Felt things I've never felt before. The awarenesses have so much to do with those behaviors that I was talking about earlier in the show of that I needed to change. And it just opened the space, like, I no longer have to do that anymore. The thing that came clearest to me is, oh my God, none of it was about me.
Perfect.
None of it was my fault.
Perfect.
And the freedom with that, and I could see how I've been continuing that, believing that, and seeing through my eyes with that perspective, seeing every little slight, like in particularly if somebody doesn't understand what I'm saying, you know, like with when you had said that it probably came from you asking questions because I wanted to understand. And
Yes.
one of the memories that came up, that I've said this memory without any felt sense so many times in my life, just very flippantly, that I remember asking my mom, and I already knew what a period was. I already knew all of that stuff, but I asked her because I wanted to have a connection with her. I wanted to build intimacy with her. And she got so flustered and was like, oh my gosh, you'll learn about that in school. Flailing her arms. And it just hit me last night. It's like, oh my gosh, every time I would try to go to these people to build relationships with them and gain knowledge from them, because I did think maybe mom had more knowledge than my friends at 10 years old or however old I was when I asked her. Um, and I continue to do it to this day. I have a problem with oversharing with people, and or I shouldn't even say it's a problem. I have that behavior, and it's a behavior that I'd like to change. Everybody doesn't need to know everything. Uh,
So take a breath.
so I just did.
Yep. Yep.
Didn't hear
Take
me.
another one. No, I did. I heard it. And that's a good cue to just take another breath and really concentrate on what you're feeling physically as you take that breath. Shift the focus of your attention right now away from the thoughts because they're spinning and there's all these memories coming up. But now that you've mentioned enough of that, and there's a good interlude point here, just take a breath or two and notice what you're physically experiencing as you talk about all of this. Just notice the general areas of your body first and then start zeroing in on, okay, so what's really getting stirred up here? Because clearly, if it's affecting your rate of speech, your tone and volume in your voice, there's a lot going on there. And there's really good information for you in your physical responses. And it's the kind of thing that with this outside perspective that you can get from a group like last night's or the work with Dr. Michael Ryce or anybody else who's getting to know you, you've opened up and let them in. What you can gain by adding their perspective to yours or the conclusions you've reached over the years is, all kinds of liberty, different perspectives, different ways to interpret it. You can actually start to question every conclusion and every belief you hold. That's a big part of the work I do with people.
Right.
Helping them move from knowing whatever it is they think they know into getting comfortable with this, what Way of Mastery would call the divine ignorance.
Yes. I tell myself that a lot. It's like, you don't know. You can't see everything through your 9 bits. You have no idea.
And then
And
the next step is the and that comes after that is breathe and soften, cancel my need to be right, cancel my need for anyone or anything to change, the hardest part for Sue Bingham in our last conversation, and just watch. Just put myself in that open, observing space. It's like, they sell certain cars these days that have different modes available. So if you turn the dial, it'll stiffen the shock absorbers or change the gear ratio or get ready for an off-roading, so you change the settings in your own physiology when you take that breath and soften and you shift the mind energy away from all of its busyness. You shift the focus of the mind energy over to the forgiveness pattern and the breath. There aren't words for how the application of that tool can open things for you, like it did last night. So what happened last night was you let the tools work for you.
mm-hmm. Yes, and it brought me to a different stage in my life, like last night when we were talking, and it was like, yeah, when I turned about 13 or 14, I became the problem. In my mind, well, in their minds too, but whatever. That's their stuff. I got enough of my own. Um,
Yes, but you borrowed their stuff, which we all do when we're in our teen years and our early years, or even before the teen. So you borrowed theirs, and you came to believe it was your assessment too.
yes, absolutely.
And
And
what you did last night was give yourself permission to question that and open it up. What if there's another possibility, another way to look at this and understand it? And then as you opened that door and open to that questioning, you got flooded with memories.
yes, I did. And memories that I've never had the felt sense. Um, it's like I've been stuck in trying to figure out the stuff that happened in my younger years, like 5 and younger. So what is going on right now is I'm feeling some anxiety. There's like, it's like the left side of my body is feeling anxiety mostly in my chest, but the right side of my body is like totally relaxed and feeling a new freedom. Any thoughts on that? Because it's like the right side of my body is just relaxed and happy. The left side is going, anxious and
Give it.
tense.
Okay, good. I was going to ask you to give some more words to what means. So the left side of your body, you're aware of some tension, right? And you're using the word anxiety, so there's some thought about, some fearful thoughts that are tagged to that sensation in the left side of your body, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So where specifically in the left side of your body are you feeling that?
The whole left side, but more intensely in my back and my chest. Heart
Okay.
there.
And in the back, is it upper back, mid back, or low back?
Upper.
Okay. So what does it feel like in the upper back? Is it like a knife between the shoulder blades? Is it a dull thing? Is it a sharp pain? Is it
Um, it's intense, but I wouldn't say knife. Um, Maybe a butter knife.
okay, a butter knife that is just getting pressed, the flat side of it is pressed against your shoulder blade, or it's a butter knife and someone's trying to stab you with it, but it's just giving you a bruise? What do you mean? It's just a butter knife.
My muscles just tied up.
Okay.
The
And
muscle that goes right
okay,
along
so
my spine.
so there's a muscle along your spine and it's feeling tight in your upper back. And with that
Very
muscle,
tight.
that very tight, and with that, is there a temperature? Does it feel hot or cold? Is there a size associated with it? It's small like a butter knife. It's large like a
Mm.
basketball.
It is wide and long like what do they call those sticks that cops carry? Nightsticks?
A nightstick. Yep.
It's
Okay.
like that.
Like that. And does it feel like it's being pressed into you, or it feels like the muscle has formed into
Feels
a,
like the muscle.
a cord like that? Okay. Is there a color associated with that?
I keep seeing the stick as black.
Okay. And then,
However, in my, like, if I push away the stick, it's orange and
okay.
red.
Okay. So there's orange and red. Is the sensation smooth or rough? Jagged?
Smooth.
Okay. And is it there emotion in the sensation? Like, is it pressing in, pressing out, pressing up, pressing down, vibrating?
Up and in.
Okay. So it's up and in and it's orange and it's about the size and shape of a nightstick. So that's enough. Speak directly to that sensation in your upper back and just ask it. Just breathe softly and put yourself in an open, allowing space and ask it, when's the first time you got put into my body? And just breathe and soften and trust what shows up. What do you notice?
What came up for me was a visual of the first time that my biological dad beat me.
Okay. That's really a good thing to make a note of. How old were you when that happened?
13 or 14.
Okay.
And I was fully mature at that point, and he had a very hard time with that. Physically mature.
So when you say mature, you mean puberty had had its results, right? So you had this body that looked more like a young woman than a little girl.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so with this memory, you can do the very same kind of thing we were doing last night. You can visualize yourself as that 13-year-old in that scene, either right before the beating or during it or right after it. You can see yourself walk into that scene and introduce yourself to your 13-year-old self and energetically exchange whatever's necessary so the 13-year-old wakes up to the fact that you're her all grown up. And then just spend some time with her, asking her what she needs from you to feel better right now. And then since you're the one in charge of this visualization and this exercise, and you can go anywhere at any time with anyone doing anything, go ahead and spend some of your mind energy helping that 13-year-old feel better right now.
What I see is me taking her hand and walking away with her.
Okay?
That was kind of the same thing that happened when I did it last night after we were done with group.
And then when you walk away with her, it's important to figure out where you go with her and how you can stay connected to her and how you can give her this kind of like this bat phone, right? It goes right from Commissioner Gordon's office straight to the bat cave. And so you give her the hotline to your conscious awareness as an adult. And you do that energetically, you do that with a visualization, you can do it and then test it out. Oh, I know what it'll do. I'll say the word kumquat, and then I try it, and it doesn't feel right. There's something about it that this. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll meet her over by the swing set where I used to meet my best friend in grade school. It's a great idea, but then if I actually try to do it and visualize meeting her there, something doesn't fit. So just play with it until you get the cues in your mind that you need to feel that connection with that 13-year-old before you wrap up that visualization. And ask her if it's okay if you come back and connect with her regularly, and then make the commitment to do that for at least the next week or two. And keep your breath moving and notice what's going on in your physiology.
The pain and tension is dissipating. Um, I did feel that connect. I feel that that was one of the things that happened last night after group was that I did get to a place where I kept the visualization, and I made that connection with her that I've never made it before, and this is just
Keep the breath moving.
I am. It's such a.
It's a big piece of work.
It is so key.
It's a big piece of work to reclaim memories, a sense of agency,
Yes.
an awareness of your ability to choose. I don't really remember. Sometimes because my sessions bleed into my groups, etc. Last night, um, well, now that something about strength, something about too many things moved into my head at the same time to try and share. But the idea is if I'm willing to soften, I tap into a strength that I can't even approximate when I'm hard and tight and tense.
Yes. Yes. I felt that last night and I'm feeling it again. It's feeling very empowered, capable, um, it's, tears of joy are coming up for me. Um, I'm not that helpless little girl anymore. I
This is
don't need
true.
that help.
This is true.
I haven't spoke to them for 15, 20 years. Not quite 20, maybe about 17. And I've felt guilt over it, such guilt over it. And it's dissipating. Like, this is the time of my life when I first started having suicidal thoughts. I started running away from home. I asked to be put in foster care to get away from them. Um, I left home when I was 15, and I have felt so guilty about that.
And keep the breath moving and just revel in the realization that that's a silly thought, right? From the adult perspective, but it's completely understandable from the 13-year-old's perspective.
Yes.
So
It's
you
like the,
you you do what's right for you and what helps you survive, and then you feel guilty about it because it isn't caretaking somebody else.
yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, pulses all over my head.
Well, do what you can to welcome them and soften. And if it's appropriate, you can ask, them what message they have for you. Pulses in the head.
This is so key, Tim.
It is. So
I,
congratulations
it's
to you for
so
being
key.
willing to do this work. Because as we pointed out with Susan Bingham earlier, if you had any idea how many people I've offered the same kinds of emotional support and words to who have had no desire and no intention and no actuality of following through on it, then you'd realize how you're the one who did this work last night and today.
Yeah, yes. Um, I absolutely do because I have offered this work to so many people in the 25 years that I've been doing it, and most of them meet it with huge resistance.
Yep, we all just do the best we can in each moment with whatever resources we have. And I don't know that that's actually true. I just know that my life gets better the more I pretend it's true.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And if I pretend it's true long enough, which is what I did, I woke up one day and I realized, oh, wait a minute. That means I've always done the best I could in each moment with whatever resources I have. And that was a huge movement within me to drop, the self-criticism and self-loathing thoughts. And so
Oh gosh, I
I
say that about other people all the time, but never have I said that about myself.
say what about other people all the time,
Thank you, that they're doing the best they can with what they've got.
right? Yeah. So over time, if you are willing to practice that and pretend it, you might also one day wake up and realize that you're just like everybody else and you've always done the best you could in each moment. with whatever resources. It's a really good experience that dismantles the double standard.
Yeah.
Right now, you hold yourself to a much higher standard than you do a common stranger. So
Yeah.
I realize that we're a couple minutes over, and that there's a little bit of a responsibility here for the continuity in the community, and it seems like you're in an okay place to stop. Is that a safe assumption?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're entirely welcome and deserving, far more than you yet know, but stick with it and it'll come to you. I will just remind us all that we come from love. We're made of the stuff called love. We actually are love, and everything else is false.